Once more, I'm joined now by Daniel Noble, the founder and manager of DriveMyCar. Daniel, can I start by asking a little bit more about how the program started and a summary of how it works?
Sure. The model came about from pure need. There is very little choice in the Australian market. In the car rental space, the price is very inelastic. There's very little choice in cars. And what we discovered was that there are 15 million cars in Australia and 12 million are private passenger cars. Australia has the third highest car ownership per capita in the world. So what we looked at was cars that weren't being used, underutilised assets, and how we can apply them, and the car rental space was the most obvious.
What's the basic transaction? How does someone with a car end up hiring it out to someone else?
Sure. People list their car no differently to a car sales website, but instead of the car being for sale, the car is promoted for rent. They list the vehicle and then they get requests for that vehicle. They get the driver's information, the date, the amount they'll make, etc. And if it suits them, they accept it. And if it does that, the site facilitates the entire process for them.
Okay. The very first question that popped into my mind when I looked at the model is, how do you overcome car insurance policies that restrict who can drive particular cars, and how is someone's car protected in this model?
Sure. Look, normal comprehensive motor insurance excludes rent and reward, so you're quite correct in that respect. What that means is if there was an accident, the current policy has an exclusion not to cover it. We developed an insurance policy that covers that exclusion, so the car has full comprehensive cover whilst being rented with us.
Right. Tell me a little bit about the introduction of this model and what kind of growth prospects you're seeing. Is there a hesitation in the community for people to be hiring out their cars?
Actually, there's been an explosion in this space. What we're finding is that people have very little choice, so what this model offers is more choice and lower costs. As a result, the car rental prices are up to 60% less than the market, and with the choice up to 36 car makes. So the take-up's been very big. What it means for the industry, in Australia, the industry's been controlled by four major rental groups, and they've controlled it because of fleet size. No one can afford to have that size fleet. This peer-to-peer space, the private rental market, is the first time that the fleet growth is exponential and the offering is greater and the price is lower. And as a result, some of the majors have had to pay attention and start to respond.
What are you seeing in the car rental space, particularly in the budget space? We know that Hertz has made the investment in the New Zealand company Ace and plans to roll out that brand in Australia because it's a low-cost budget brand. Why is the industry looking at lower-cost budget models?
I think the main reason, and it's seen in car sharing, Zipcar, Go Get here in Australia, and other similar models, where the biggest cost for these companies is fleet. Fleet acquisition, fleet servicing, fleet maintenance, fleet depreciation on their balance sheet have a massive impact on their bottom line. Up until now, no one thought you could build a fleet from private vehicles where each vehicle is owned by an individual. So all of a sudden, these already profitable businesses are trying to find ways to access that market. Many of them are having a hard time doing it because it's so far from their core business.
What is the capital investment required for a business such as yours? Is it primarily an online model?
It's a mix of both. DriveMyCar Rentals has emerged as a dynamic fleet solution. What that means is we operate in short-term car rental, short-term leasing, insurance replacement. So it's a very diverse application in the market, which was predominantly owned by car rental companies themselves. The insurance product is probably the main Catch-22, which we control, and we develop that product, and that's the major barrier to entry for another operator to come into the Australian market. But and the technology to be able to effectively manage where the cars are, where the drivers are, where the owners are, and bring them together seamlessly in a convenient manner is probably the biggest barrier. So technology is probably the biggest investment in the space.
How do you categorise what someone earns from leasing their car out via you?
We have an algorithm that, based on the car's make, model, year, kilometres, options, etc., and popularity or demand in the market, creates a base rate which owners can have an effect on. We then offset that against the market basket we create of the major market operators, and we create a price in between. And what the main hurdle rate for an owner is to cover their costs. Unlike a car rental company, a car owner knows his car will depreciate and lose half its value over 5 years, and they're happy to cover their costs on the way down. Alternatively, if the car is already 5 years old, the price is pretty static. So these people are making significant return on their investment.
They're making return on their investment.
Correct.
DriveMyCar, hoping to see about 3% market share by 2015. Daniel Noble, we are short of time. Thank you for explaining the model to us.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks so much.